Welcome to Real Talk, Real Women. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and today we have the editor of Oxygen Magazine Australia, fitness model, pro figure athlete, spokesperson for Nestlé's Musashi Trusted Performance Nutrition, and Under Armour Lindy Olsen on the show. Welcome, Lindy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you, Miriam?
I'm fine. Thank you so much for your time, Lindy.
Pleasure, not a problem at all.
So, Lindy, were you always the sporty type, and how did you get into fitness?
I wasn't actually. As a kid growing up, I was kind of sporty, but as I got into high school, I definitely wasn't sporty at all. I started high school as any normal child would, and I ended up having to switch from school sports to studying, and it was probably a really hard transition because I stopped playing sport altogether, and that's when, for me, the pounds or the kilos in Australia here we call them really pile on. So for me, I just kept getting bigger and bigger, and it wasn't until I actually went to uni that I realised, oh my goodness, who is that person looking back at me in the mirror? So it was one of those things. At high school, I always used to get teased. People used to pay out on me all the time about my butt because, you know, it used to have its own postcode, they used to say. So it was something that I probably just shrugged off at the time, but I didn't realize how deeply it actually did bite into my own self-worth. So I had a lot of struggles early on when I first started, you know, even going to the gym, to be honest. You know, I went into the gym and I burst into tears the first time I went there, and I turned and walked out the door, and I couldn't believe it that I just humiliated myself and walked into the gym. So it's been a tough road, but it has been something that I've learned from each time, and every time I've accomplished something and moved forward with it, it's been empowering, and it's been incredible because I've just never ever stopped trying to be a better person and trying to be a better version of me. And at the end of the day, I think that's all that you can ever do, is to be a better version of yourself and to make sure that you know, you try and empower other people to do the same thing rather than, you know, compare yourself to somebody else and say, oh, she's got a better this or a better that or whatever. Because you know what, at the end of the day, everybody has a better something than you do. And it's the imperfections that we accept that make us perfect, in my opinion. So,
yeah, I totally agree. Yes.
It's a message that I'm so passionate about, as you can tell. And I think it's something that I've lived through. I've come out the other side, and it's a pretty amazing place to be when you actually can look yourself in the mirror and go, wow, I actually really do like myself, even when I'm not in comp shape, when I'm not a fitness model, when I'm not, you know, at my best, you could say. In terms of physically looking my best, I am emotionally, spiritually, and all of those things. I am always at my best because I love myself now. So, and I love myself in my own skin, and it's a great place to be. So,
yeah, and that's most important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you loved lifting weights, but initially quit after a short while to further your studies in law, and all the way up to 2003, you weren't really motivated to keep fit. I believe you even ended up weighing 89 kilos. That is almost 200 pounds for our US friends watching. What changed in 2003?
I basically, like I said before, I was sick of going into gyms and not fitting. I really, so for a long time after I left high school, then went to uni, ballooned out. I was really telling myself, I think, that it wasn't my fault, that I didn't get me here, and you know, it was just a thing that had happened, and I was so unaware that what I was doing to myself was actually sabotaging my progress and sabotaging my results. So for me, it was not until we went out for dinner, my husband and myself, we went out for dinner almost 10 years ago with some friends who were doing a documentary on this lady who had transformed herself from a size 20 down to a size 8 with the help of a personal trainer in one of the states that we used to live in. So for me, I thought, well, maybe there's something to this. And she went from a size 20 down to a size 8 in about a year. So it was a, you know, realistic kind of transformation. But wow, maybe there's some hope for me yet, because I'd been on every diet you could think of. I'd been on, you know, high carb, low carb, high fat, no fat, Pritikin, Zatkin, South Beach, you name it, I did it. And I just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I had no idea what to do. So I went along to this personal trainer who basically said, yeah, we'll take you on. And I went up the stairs into this gym, and I couldn't believe it. I looked around at all the walls and I could see all of these pictures on these walls and these trophies from all of these different bodybuilders, and I didn't realize I had just walked into a competition gym. So as I had done in every single time before, I turned around and walked out of this gym, but this time in tears, just thinking, what the hell was I thinking? What the hell, was I doing in this place? And luckily, thank goodness, the old guy saw what happened, and I was already about to get into the car, and he yelled out from the top of the stairs, he yelled out, "Baby, come back to me." I was thinking, who the hell is that? And I turned around, and there's this old guy at the top of the stairs with his big gold chains on, really bad tan and bad knees from too many squats, and he says, "Come on, come back up. We look after you." And I just said, "No, this is not the place for me. I made a big mistake by coming here." And he goes, No, baby, come back up. We see. Let's come up." So I met him halfway up the stairs, and he met me the other way halfway down the stairs. He put his arm around me, and he said to me, "Don't worry, baby, we look after you." And he took me into his little room, and he showed me all the transformation stories that he had in this book of his. There was over 100 of them. And I started to actually have some belief that I might be able to do something similar with his help and his guidance. And I think that day that things changed for me because somebody else believed in me before I had the belief in myself. And that was one of the biggest things that I try now to give to everybody else that I come across, is that belief and that hope in themselves that, they can do this stuff. They can if they really want to, and they have the support and they have the people behind them, giving them the love, the encouragement, and all of those things, that they can do whatever it is that they want to. So that day things changed for me, and I ended up going to this personal trainer 4 times a week. And I think after the second week I didn't really notice any differences, but I was out of money, but I was feeling better. So I called my husband, who was away. He'd been away for a week at that point because he works in movie set. At that point, he was doing movie set stuff and working in Melbourne. So he was away, and I called him and I said, "What are we going to do?" And he said, "Babe, if you're enjoying it, go and keep doing it." So I thought, right, how am I going to do it? So I saved my money. I cut out all the coffees and things that you buy and the takeaway food and all of those things, and just thought, well, I've got to keep doing this. So I think by about the 4th week, I actually started to notice a difference, not only in my energy levels, but how I felt about myself. I was actually doing something now, and I didn't change food. I didn't change anything else. I was just simply moving my body and, with the help of this personal trainer. And I thought, well, okay, I've got to keep doing this. So my husband was still away. He was away for a total of 3.5 months. After about the 6-week period, I was starting to actually change a little bit of shape. My arms were toning up. Everything was starting to take shape, and I hadn't really done anything with my food. And I think at about the 2-month mark, the old guy came to me and he said, "Baby, I want you to compete." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm so not competing. There's no way. I'm, the baggy pant girl and the big T-shirt girl to the beach, because in Australia here we have the most beautiful beaches. I'm sure you guys do as well over in Florida and, in LA and Santa Monica and all those types of beautiful places that we always see in postcards.
Nothing else to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's incredible. And I remember, thinking I will never be able to do this. And I said, no way, there's no way I'm getting on stage. Because back then, 10 years ago, it was mandatory. You had to wear a G-string. So wearing a G-string for me was like, no. It was just too scary. I just couldn't do it. So he said, okay, we won't train. You won't compete. We just train you to compete. See how you go. All right, I can handle that. So I think I went on the competition diet, and back then was very different to what my comp diet is now. Let me tell you, it was pretty strict. But now these days I've learned a lot differently on how to still get lean, but keep your sanity at the same time. So, I did, I think, 3.5 months, nearly 4 months of training. I think I dropped about 20 kilos at that stage of the 29 that I'd lost, which is, about 180 pounds of the 200 that I'd lost. And my husband had been away 3.5 months, and he rang up and he said, "I'm coming home." And I said, "Okay, right." He goes, "Can you come pick me up from the train station?" I said, No, I've got work on, but I'll meet you at home. He's like, what? You can't pick me up. It's been 3.5 months. I was like, no, I'm really sorry. I'm at work. So meanwhile, I nipped off from work early, went down to the lingerie shop, and I got the best set of red lingerie I could find. I got the rose for my mouth. I got, the high heels on, and I got just all ready to go. And he knocked on the door, and I had my robe on, and I said, close your eyes. And anyway, he come through the door. He was so tired, the poor thing. And I just said to him, baby, keep your eyes closed. And he's like, why? I'm really tired. Just let me come in and put my feet up. I'm like, just a minute. So I stood back and I said to him, all right, open. And I went, ta-da! And he just looked at me and he just went, oh, my God, what have you done? And I said, I got fit. Do you like it? And he said, like it? And then my lingerie didn't last very long. Obviously, that's another story. But that was the beginning of this whole thing for me. And I think I competed about a month later. I dropped in total 200 pounds, 29 kilo. And I have never, ever, ever been so empowered and so just amazed by what is truly possible. If you put your mind to it and you really just believe, or somebody believes in you until you start to believe in yourself, that you can actually do something. Because I tell you, I used to roll out of bed every morning feeling really average. I had no mirrors in the house. I didn't allow people to take photos of me. I had some really deep-seated self-worth, real issues that I just felt like a failure. I'd tried everything and failed at everything. I'd never finished everything in my life, and competing was probably the first time I'd ever, set myself a goal. I actually achieved it, and I actually competed. It was just like, holy cow. It was just like one of those things that you just go, oh. And every time on stage that I've stepped on stage since has been a repeat of that same feeling. Am I good enough? Until my last show, which was 2010. And that 2010 show, everything changed because I won the Pro World Natural Figure titles over in Vegas, and I never ever thought that I would ever do something like that. So for me to win that on the world stage was just like, oh my God, I just have won this thing. And now I'm now the successful person. I'm not the underdog chasing that dream anymore. I'm actually here. I've done it. Now what? What do I do now? So yeah, so it's been a tremendous ride. It has really been a tremendous ride. So
wow, what an incredible story.
And it's still going. It's still going. I am so lucky and so blessed every day to do something that I'm so passionate about, and just speak to so many women and men who come up. We had the biggest fitness expo just recently. Top Reno from the US came down as one of our special guests, and she couldn't believe it. She could not believe the response that we had here from the Australian people to oxygen in general, to the culture that is over here in Australia, that we have been really trying to, empower women to be strong and to love their bodies and to be fit and healthy above all else, not to take substances that will be a quick fix, not to, go into things naively thinking that if they do those things, they'll have a great body. But then at the end of that, what happens? What is the consequences of those sorts of actions? So for us here in Australia, it's all about health. Looking good for me, as I say to everybody, is a bonus of being healthy. So if you're fit and healthy and you're active and you're loving life and you're getting out there and you're doing everything that you possibly can to be a good person and to help others and to, contribute back to the community, then you haven't got anything to worry about. You're on fire if that's the case. And that's the message that, oxygen in Australia is all about. And that's what we've really tried hard to turn it into, because, it all comes down from the person at the top. And if the person at the top is giving out the wrong message, then the rest of the stuff is going to follow with the wrong message. So we work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, pretty much. We probably work on deadline week 20 hours a week. And that's pretty regularly. Every month there's a deadline week. So it's not a glamorous job. It's not a well-paid job. But oh my God, you cannot buy the kind of self-satisfaction that comes from doing a job that I do and that you love. I just would do it, even if, don't tell my boss this, but I would do it even if I didn't get paid. It would be, something that I just am so passionate about, with just inspiring and helping other women and men to be the best that they can be. It's amazing. So yeah, it is. It's an incredible feeling to be able to do that. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. What a great job.
Yeah.
Yes. And you literally saw your body transforming before your eyes, and now 10 years later you are an inspiration and role model to women all over the world. Would you have ever guessed that 10 years ago?
No, oh my goodness, no. I keep pinching myself every day, just saying, how the heck did I get here? And I guess I'm still that girl from the country, that from a little small town that just had a dream that, to feel better about herself. And that's literally how this has all come about, is that I just wanted to feel better about myself and who I was, and I wanted to have a great life. And that hasn't changed. That has not changed. And wherever I end up and, wherever we get to, it is all just so, I'm so grateful for all of it. I am so grateful because, the minute that you expect something, or the minute that you think that you are really the shit, if you like, or as they say over here, it's an expression in Australia, people think they're the shit. It's something that you just can't take ever for granted, because people don't get to live extraordinary lives and usually still be humble. So for me, that's a big thing. I will never, ever forget where I came from, and I will never, ever forget, who I am as a person. And that's probably more important to me than anything else, is that, I always give a real example to people, because, not every day for me is great. Not every day is, is on top of the world. Some days I have bad days, and some days are just crappy. And it's what you do with those days that really matter moving forward. And that's where, for me, I want to make sure that people understand that I do have bad days. Not every day is a great day, and that, moving forward on those bad days and learning the lessons and empowering yourself to learn more about yourself, and being brave enough to actually, look at yourself and say, well, okay, I can do better there. Okay, I can take that feedback on and I can do better. Let me show you. Let me be better. I want to be better. Let me work on that. I'm aware of it. Let me work on it. And, if people are only willing to take that on board and to really look at themselves and say, well, okay, let's take this thing on and let's see where we get to. That's what I do every day. So whether my day is bad or good or any of those things, it's always a learning experience. It's always something that I can build on to be a better person. And that is what I try and do every single day. So, and that's more important to me, and especially with the Readers for Oxygen as well, and clean eating. It all ties in. If they can have the right mindset, they will achieve so many things. And our Oxygen ambassadors now, they are just the most amazing people you could ever meet, and each of them have struggles like everybody else, but all of us help each other out. We don't say, oh my God, look at her, she's got better this, so therefore I'm not going to help her. It's an attitude. It's a community spirit. It's a movement. It's empowering when you get with other people that are like-minded, that are like you, that want to help each other, don't want to hinder each other, want to support each other rather than slap each other. There's too much slapping going on in this industry, and in fitness in general. There's too many people wanting to step over everybody else to get to where they think is the top. Well, you know what? There is no top. There's only the top that we all have within ourselves. And if we're comfortable with ourselves, then we're already at the top, and that's me.
I agree.
So, yeah. So that's the message for every single woman, man, child, teenager out there, is that, if you can just be the best you that you can be, you're already a winner. You're already a winner.
Amazing. So, you also run your own online community where you help support women who are struggling with weight and body image issues. Can you talk a little bit about how that came about and what your goals are?
Okay. The online community is an amazing place. It is a free space that I created because back 10 years ago there wasn't anywhere that I could go because I didn't have a lot of money. that I could go and talk to people about my weight issues, my, motivation issues, all of those things that I had. So I struggled in the beginning to find anybody that would be able to give me guidance. I struggled to find anybody that would actually help me without charging me a fortune. So the community that I created was simply out of necessity for me wanting to be able to give back to everybody, or every woman or every person that wanted to compete or wanted to get into shape, some kind of place where they could feel like they were heard, they were listened to, they were accountable as well to somebody else in that forum, and really, part of something really special. And that's how the community created, and it was created. And the girls in there, Michelle Cohen, all of the girls that moderate in there for me, they do it for nothing. They do it because they love it. They do it because they are people that are wanting to give back, and they're people that are athletes themselves. They've been through the issues, they've been through their own hardships, and that they know how much I've helped them and they've helped me, and vice versa, and how much that support is really valuable. And that's why it's free, and that's why it will remain free until I can't afford to keep it there anymore. And hopefully that never happens. But it's just such a great place for people to come in and find real answers from people who are not trying to sell them something, or give them advice based on what they're profiting in their back pocket. It's all genuine advice. It's all real, genuine, good advice. So I'm very, very lucky with the people that we have in there. We have a great bunch of girls, and we have doctors in there, we have nurses, we have physiotherapists, we have chiropractors, we have nurses, we have PTs, we have coaches, we have all sorts of people, we have lawyers, we have all sorts of people in there, all contributing. And the only thing is that you must register your name, your address, your phone number, and your email. If you can't register all of those, then I don't want you on there, because I want it to be a place where you can provide those details, and if something's up, then we're going to call you and we're going to harass you. So those details are obviously not public, but they're provided to us who run and maintain the site, so that we can sift out, if you like, any of the people that are not genuinely wanting to be there. And it's been brilliant. It has kept people out who are not genuinely involved in wanting to be better people, and it's been brilliant. It's been self-regulating, if you like. So the community is all about being active, being healthy, and feeling great about yourself. And the community is just, it's incredible, actually. It's something that I'm really proud of. I'm really, really proud of it, that we can help people when they need it. Then they might come back, they might go away for 3 months, and they might come back after 3 months and say, I need you guys again. I'm like, great, welcome back. It's a pretty amazing place. It's really good. So yeah, I never thought that it would grow into 25,000 members. It's crazy.
Amazing, yeah. Amazing.
Tiny website.
Sorry?
For a little tiny website back then, far out.
Well, we all start small.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Yeah.
You say on your website that you are not special or lucky, but that you just had a dream that you didn't let go of.
That's right.
How important is it to know where you want to go? Do you set goals for yourself?
I think for me, I never set a goal that I wanted to be a fit competitor or a fitness model or an editor of a magazine. I never did. I'll be honest. I set goals for myself that I wanted to be a better person. I didn't know how I was going to do that or how I was going to get there. I knew that I didn't want to be an office worker all my life in a field, because I used to work in law and admin prior to that, and I knew I didn't want to just do an admin role that was boring, that I was not passionate about. So for me, I think it was a massive transition for me. 10 years ago, I was an EA earning a lot of money with my own car. I was 23 years old with my own car with, sorry, that was more than 10 years ago, probably 15 years ago now. I was doing all of that. I had my own car, had my, laptop, had everything, all the perks that you could ever want in a job, got paid a fortune, but was miserable with my work and with what I did. Had a great partner, my husband Dallas, but I was miserable. There was nothing fulfilling in my role. I got a great material reward for that, but so I quit my job and I became a personal trainer, and I started on, I think, less than half of what I was earning to become a personal trainer. And from that day forward, I never looked back. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to work with people. I wanted to be able to show people a better way of feeling good about themselves. I wanted to inspire people to just try to be better than they potentially were. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. I still don't know to this day how I ended up where I am. I have just taken on any opportunity that I have been presented with. I am so grateful for any opportunity that comes my way. I am now a sponsored athlete with Musashi. I actually get paid more than I do for my work by my sponsors now. I'm the face of their power shaping program. I've designed all of their programs and all of their nutritional stuff with their help on the nutrition side. And that program is free as well. So everything for me has been about moving forward and empowering other people to move forward as well, in whichever direction it is that they wanted to go. So setting goals, I have done that on a physique side. So on the actual competition side, yes, I've definitely set goals. I want to change this, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. But from a life perspective, I've never set a goal to say I want to be famous or I want to inspire 300 million people. I've never, ever set a goal like that, because I don't know where life's going to take me. But I can tell you what I won't do is I won't sit back and settle for average ever. And wherever that ends me up, if I end up in a little shack somewhere on the side of a road and, then so be it. I will have had an extraordinary life, and that's okay with me.
Would you say that it's a lot about the small changes you make and adapt over time that, when added up, make a big difference?
Yeah, absolutely it is. The little things that you put into practice every day are the things that eventually build into a massive big thing and end up and give you an outcome of where you're actually going to end up. So, my 7 rules that I put together, which is also free. I don't charge for very much, do I? The 7 rules are on my website, and the 7 rules are all about how to get into shape really in a healthy way, but without having to sacrifice the foods that you love. So yes, you can eat cheesecake. Yes, you can eat all of those things. So the 7 rules is all about balance for me. So it's the little things. So with the 7 rules, my point there was that each week, if you do one of those rules, by the end of the 7 weeks, you'll be amazing. So if you try and do all of those 7 rules on the first day, you'll get so annoyed and this is all too hard. This is all, too overwhelming, and I can't keep this up, and this is all just crappy. I can't do it. But if you actually put things into place, like you've said, little by little by little, and you add to them and you keep adding to them, they make a massive difference. And that's exactly what's happened to me over the last 10 years. I've competed and done all of those things, but I could never get the other side of it right. I could never get the staying in shape all year round thing right. I could never get it right, because I'd either be in shape or out of shape, in shape or out of shape. And so as a fitness model, you can't be out of shape because no one will shoot you. So you need to really have that in mind if you want to become a fitness model. And you really need to have this together before you have anything else together, your head, right? So if that's not together, then don't be a fitness model. Be a figure competitor, because you can be on stage and you can get into shape, but then off season you can use that as an excuse, which, mind you, most of them do, which is not so great either. But I was one of those people, so, I definitely did that, and I used it as an excuse, whereas now I know better. So it is those combination of all of those little things that all added up together make a massive difference as to where you are now. So it's a huge thing. So yeah.
Great. Did you also have to change mentally? I know that at one point in life you felt insecure about yourself and body. Did that go away as you became fit?
No. You're gonna look at me and go, wow. I had won 2 world amateur titles in about the 5th year of my competition, and I still felt like a failure. Even though I'd won 2 world titles, 2 natural world titles, amateur titles, I still felt like I just was not that person, because I could not get it together off stage. That person on stage was just so far removed from my everyday person, like me. It was just, that was the show me. The real me was not that person at all at that point. Little did I realize that stage person was the real me. The off-season me was the person who felt sorry for herself, who thought she couldn't do it, who thought that she would only look like that for a certain period of the year, and that it was okay. And I used all the excuses under the sun to justify why I kept binging on things and why I restricted myself. Then I'd diet, then I'd binge, then I'd diet, then I'd binge. So I was really in denial, I think, about my own issues. And then it wasn't until I think 2008 when I reconnected with my my mental coach, if you like, or my headspace coach, Greg Dolman, who does body tune type assessment. So he taps into the body through kinesiology, and helps you really to tap into why you have certain behaviors, or why you have a certain mindset about something, or why you're self-sabotaging, all of those sorts of things. And I really got to the bottom of why I didn't think I was worthy of being a world champion. And that's what it boiled down to. I didn't think that I was worthy of being that world champion on stage with those 2 amateur titles. I really didn't think that I deserved those titles, because, I couldn't keep it together in the off season. Yeah, I did well on stage, great. I thought that I was just lucky. and most of the time you are when you win a title. You've worked hard, but it's who turns up on the day, because I don't have great genetics. I just know how to use my body to hide my weaknesses better than somebody else, pretty much. And that's what this sport is all about. Figure sport is all about. So for me, it wasn't until I started working on myself and, looking at my own personal, not failures, but my own personal fears, if you like, that I really started to my self-worth and my off-season me and my stage me actually became the one person. And then when I got off that stage in 2010 with that pro title, it was just like, oh my God, this is me, and it was just, I'll never forget it as long as I live, because that was the day where the 2 roads, the off-season me and the on-stage me, became the one person. And I just realized that, wow, I'm here, I made it. And yeah, it was a day that I finally felt happy in my own skin.
Oh, amazing. Wow.
See that it's still a pretty emotional thing for me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but you deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for your openness.
That's a pleasure. No problems. I'm not supposed to cry, but yeah, it is. It's a really, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I've had such opportunities, and I've been able to share that with other people as well, because other people go through the same struggles, they go through the same fears, doubts, all of those things about themselves, and some of them never get past those things, which is something that, it's a personal mission for me to be able to help those people be able to get past that stuff and come out the other side and just go, man, I made it, yeah. So yeah, it's a really personal thing for me. Yeah. And that's why I think I love what I do so much. I really do. It's something that's so close to my own story, my own heart. And, when I see other people achieve now, that just inspires me more than ever. Like, it's no longer about, me getting on stage anymore and proving to myself that I'm okay. It's about me now looking at other people and going, right, come on, girl, or come on, dude, let's go. We can get this thing going, and we can, you can do so much. It's like I see their potential before they even do, like the old guy did for me, back in the day. And, that's me now for them, and they're achieving, and they're getting trophies, and they're up on stage shining and just feeling empowered and feeling the most amazing thing. And it's just that for me, that is what that stuff, it's priceless. You can't even put a monetary value on that stuff. It's just that's what it's all about. And that's what we try and do every day with the magazine and all of those things now. So that's the focus now, is to help other people to feel better about themselves, and just never settle for average if they don't want to. Everyone's got a choice.
You are doing such a great job.
Thank you very much. I'm just so passionate about, people feeling good, because they don't have to feel crappy, you know. And if someone else can help, if a kind word or a hug or a, you know, a nice email back to somebody, just kindness. There's not enough kindness in this world, and especially in fitness. There's not enough kindness between people, and, you know, we need to be kind.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. On your side, you talk about how people find it so hard to believe that being fit comes so easily for those around them, that it's really all about lifestyle changes. Can you share your thoughts about making a lifestyle change versus following a diet?
Okay. First of all, if anybody that knows me or anyone that's come to any of my workshops will always hear me say diets are for dummies. I put a post up on Facebook just the other day. I think we had a ridiculous response to it. It was crazy. It went viral. It went off the dial. I had people from the US. I had people from Germany. I had people from New York. I had people just Canada, everywhere. Everyone just jumped on this thing because I wrote on there about people cutting things out of their diet in an attempt to get lean. And I was talking about carbohydrates. Most people cut their carbohydrates out in an attempt to get lean quickly, and then they rebound tremendously bad on the other side. So my post was about exactly that. You know, do not cut anything out of your diet in an attempt to get lean, because so many people shut their metabolisms down accidentally. They don't realize. They suffer from adrenal fatigue potentially. They then suffer from, you know, a bit of a crisis, a bit of a carb fuzz, which we call, you know, when you don't have enough carbohydrates and you just go into this fuzz where you're just going, what? You know, you just can't function as a human being. You know, and anybody who's been dieting and who has dieted the wrong way for a show will definitely understand what I'm talking about. And even for people in general, you know, there's so much misinformation out there about cutting out carbohydrates and, you know, in an attempt to get all the fat off your body. It's just so not true. People need to maximize their metabolism, and that means they need to understand nutrition. They need to understand how to put everything together so that they don't have to go on these ridiculous, you know, soup Nazi diets, or whatever they're called. They don't have to kill themselves in a gym 7 days a week, working 3 hours a day. They don't have to push themselves beyond belief like you would see on a Biggest Loser show or whatever it is, because let's face it, that's not sustainable. And they've got doctors and all of those things on that show to help them do what they need to do. And, you know, those guys are in extreme cases, of course. So for me, it's all about putting, like we said before, those little things into place, which then make it a lifestyle and a behavioral change. And once you get the little things right, man, they all add up to such a big outcome. It is crazy good. So, you know, it is about lifestyle. It's not about just being on a diet, because a diet is for a specific thing, for a specific purpose, for a specific time frame. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you go on a diet, you're going to come off it. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because anybody can hold their determination for 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, or 20 years. So at some point, most people will come off a diet, most people. And the ones that don't end up pretty sick, because they end up, you know, with some sort of a disease most of the time, because determination is, in some people, is very strong. Willpower is very strong, and I'm one of those people. And they end up in hospital rather than go off their diet. So that's when it becomes a real issue. So diets, as I said before, are for dummies. Diets will never ever get you where you want to go long term and be a lifestyle thing. Diets are only, like I said, for a specific time frame, for a specific purpose. But diets still need to be within reason. You cannot be cutting out lots of things out of your diet. And this is where I went wrong with my figure competing. And I didn't realize until about the 5th year after I won those 2 amateur world titles how to get my body into comp shape without sacrificing my health and without sacrificing the foods that I loved. So I experimented on myself for so many years, and I actually ended up maximizing my metabolism by eating more food, which allowed me then to actually eat some more shit food like crap. So, you know, I would eat not a block of chocolate, but a bar of chocolate, you know, once every second day. That's how the rules were born. The rules were born out of, you know, trial and error with what I did. So now all I do is follow those rules, and I stay in shape, and I tweak them when I need to get ready for a shoot, or I, you know, need to get in shape for a show. I'm literally 5-6 weeks out from a show these days, you know, just because I follow the 7 rules, which are free, which are on my website. So yeah, it's something that I do every day, and I do that 365 days a year. And I have my chocolate, I have my cheesecake, I eat my ice cream, I have caramel slice because it's my favorite thing in the world. I have my chips, I eat chocolate, and as you can see, here's a finished cherry wrapper bar, and I'm not lying. This is a cherry ripe bar that I've just finished. So, you can do all of these things and still stay in shape if you want, if that's what you choose to do. And I'm not going downstairs on the treadmill after this and killing myself for 2 hours on the treadmill just to get rid of that cherry ripe, because I don't need to. Everything in moderation. It's got to be a lifestyle thing. And I go for a walk every morning with my husband along the beach. For 30 to 45 minutes, we just go for a walk. We don't run, we don't jog, we don't do any of those things because we simply want to fat burn before breakfast. We get home, we have our oats and our berries and whatever we have on our oats and a protein powder probably. And yeah, that's life for us. We enjoy it, and on a Sunday morning we might go out and have bacon and eggs or go down to a local cafe and have a beautiful omelette or something. I mean, whatever we feel like. If I felt like eggs every single day, I'd have eggs. If I want toast or beans on toast or spaghetti on toast, I'd have it. But it's got to be within reason. Yeah, it's got to be within reason. You can't sit down and have a whole block of chocolate every day. You can, a couple of squares or a bar or something, within reason. And that's where the whole lifestyle thing comes in. So, yeah.
I agree. Thank you. How do you keep it up? A lot of people start with good intentions, but then just as easily fall back into their old behaviors. How do you go from intention to habit?
Okay. It's as easy as this. You just have to do it. What you've got to do is you've got to you've got to know yourself. So if you know that you like to sleep in the morning, like me, I'm terrible. I'm a night owl. So for me, I love to sleep in. So for me, if I don't get my shoes and socks out and my outfit out the night before, there is no way in God's earth that I'm going to get up and I'm going to go for a walk and get out the door before my brain kicks into gear and says, no, stay in bed. There's no way. So I need to get my stuff ready the night before, get it all ready next to my bed. So as soon as my alarm gets on, I don't even think. I open up the thing, I get out, I stick my clothes on, my shoes on, get my drink ready, I'm out the door before I even know that my brain's kicked in to say it's cold because it's winter over here now. It's freezing. That's why I got my skivvy on. Can you see it? So yeah. So it is. It's freezing over here at the moment, but it doesn't give me the chance to say no. It's too cold. Stay in bed. I just get up and I do it, and that is the difference with knowing yourself and timing your activity in the best time for you in the course of a day. And me, if I don't do it in the morning, I don't do it. So I need to just get it out of the way.
Right. And anyone can start today, right? To quote you, there's no time to waste time. What advice can you give about that fantastic lesson?
Oh my goodness, anybody. It all starts today, right now. Right now. It doesn't start tomorrow. It doesn't start this afternoon. It starts right now. So if you can do the best that you can at each meal and you can put the most healthy things in your mouth every time that you go and take something to eat, then you are going to be on your way faster than you could ever know. And that is all that it takes, is that.
Love it, yes.
You just can't hope that you're going to get the results you want. You've got to make it happen. Nobody else is going to do this for you. Nobody. You've got to be the one to get on that bus and take control of the wheel. It's no use being a passenger on that bus because it's just going to coast along and cruise along. And you know what? Nobody was ever driving a bus down the street and also being a passenger at the same time. You're either driving it or you're a passenger. So get behind that wheel, stick your foot on the gas and go for it.
Where can people go to connect with you online?
You can go to the website, which is lindyolsen.com, LINDYOLSEN.com. And we're just about to launch Lindy Fitness as well. So that's going to be pretty exciting. That's going to be a full-on fitness workout, cardio training, nutrition library. There's a whole heap of stuff on there.
Great. And I will make sure to put all your links below this video.
Thank you very much. It was great to meet you and great to talk to you as well.
Thank you so much. So, Lindy, is there anything else you would like to talk about today that you feel we've missed?
No, you've covered pretty much everything. You've made me cry about the whole gamut.
I'm so sorry.
You got everything. Don't be sorry.
I'm sorry.
Not at all. No, it's great. I'm just passionate. I'm just passionate about, empowering other people to be all that they can be, and never ever taking things for granted, and never ever settling for average if they don't want to. And that's a choice. That's a choice people make every day in every capacity, whether it's fitness, whether it's relationships, whether it's work, career, money. It's all choices, and it's the choices that we make that make us who we are, and move us forward or keep us where we are. So don't be average if you don't want to be. That's the message, I think.
Thank you so much, Lindy. I learned so much from you today.
Thanks very much for having me, Miriam. It was great.
You're most welcome. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Miriam Khalladi, and I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk, Real Women.